Hey guys, and welcome back to another Unfiltered Gamer Card Game Spotlight. Today's game up on the Spotlight is called Rain. Rain is for 3 or 2 to 7 players, 30 to 45 minutes, and about ages 12 and up. In the game Rain by Garage Games is basically kind of almost Game of Thrones, the card game in a way. You're actually going to be bidding on houses, and after you bid on houses, the next aspect of the game is you're trying to become the regent and win the round. To win the round, you have to have the most influence on a specific house, and you can play cards face down and face up to add to your total score at the end of the round. If you have more score than anybody else, then you're going to actually win the specific round, as well as keeping this Onyx crown here. And when you win a round, you gain 3 points, and when you support a house that wins the round, you get 2. Now, when you play cards, it doesn't mean much until the last card is played as a helper, somebody who doesn't have a house or chooses not to use their house. That last card is what's important, and that will determine who you are supporting at the end of the battle. Now, to begin the game, before we begin the game, we'll talk about all the stuff in the game. The first thing is that there are 5 different decks of cards. You have green, silver, yellow, blue, and red, as well as 5 different houses: the Lightbringer, the Frostweave, the Golden Stag, the Hammerfist, and Evergreen, as well as the Crown, money, and then you have an event deck, or a deck. Let's say event deck. There's 3 types of event cards. The first one is you can play these specific cards with the handshake, face down or face down to begin for the bidding round, and the other 2 is either a backstab or a regular event. These cards can be played at any time, but these specifically with the handshake are the ones that we played during the bidding phase. On your turn, you're going to take all of at the beginning of the game, you're going to take all of these decks here, and they all have a special card in them, and you're going to shuffle them up. So we'll take these cards here and just shuffle them up. Let's see if we can get a good shuffle in. And it also comes with, obviously, a box and the full rules of the game, which is very, very simple and easy to understand. Technically, you're supposed to shuffle 7 times, I believe, in order for it to be completely random, but just for the sake of time, we'll just skip it and do one more here. Everybody is then going to draw 5 cards, and we'll do a 3-player game here. 4, 4, 4, 5, 5, and place the deck over here. So then you have basically the soldier deck, and then you got the event deck right here. You got your cards here. So based on the number of players, you determine how many houses start the game. In a 6 or 7 player game, it'll be 5. In a 5 or 4, it'll be 4, and so on and so forth. It goes lower. So we'll go ahead, and for 3 players, I believe it's just 2 houses that are going to start the game off. So we'll just put these right here. We'll have Hammer Fast, and Evergreen. Okay, cool. So we got our 3 different players, and we've got our 2 houses, and the event deck is we're going to put these cards. We'll just put them at the bottom here. Normally you're going to shuffle them up though. All right. And the person who has the most jewelry is the person who starts with this Onyx crown. The person who has control of the the person who has control of the Iron Crown, or the Onyx crown. They're going to start the game off just like that. And the Onyx Crown person is going to actually determine ties and that kind of stuff. And they can't lose their house when they gain their house. But right now, nobody has it. So the first thing you're going to do is look at your hand, determine which of these 2 houses you want, if any. And you can play as many cards as you want face down to try and gain those houses. So this person will play this card face down. This person will look at his or her hand. And let's see what card they want to play down. This one. And then this player is going to look at their hand and play this one. Now, after they've gone ahead and played their cards, they've all chosen just play one, but you could play more. Everybody's going to reveal their cards, just like this. And the person who bid the highest is going to take the houses. So right here we have 2 of the same type, which is the Hammer Fast. And this is a 3 and this is a 1. So the player with the Onyx Crown is going to have Hammer Fast. This player loses this card and gains nothing for it. And finally we have a 1 green for the Skirmisher here. And that is simply just 1, and he gets Evergreen. So this second player is just going to be supportive this round. The next thing that's going to happen is we're going to try and do this is like the secondary bidding phase, technically, in which we're all going to be playing as many 1 card face up and then 2 cards face down. And you're going to try and win with your house. And you gain 3 victory points if you can do that, or 2 if you're supporting the house that does it right. So this player here is going to want to try and support the house that he or she thinks is going to win this round. Whenever you play the same symbol on a house, either face up or face down, it gives you a bonus of 2. Otherwise, it's just the base card, plus any abilities will trigger after all cards have been revealed. So he'll play this. It's a good question. Which ones do you want to play? He'll play this card face up. It is a 5, and it is a yellow. And then he gets to go ahead and choose his, and he can go ahead and help green, or he can go with silver. Maybe he wants to... He'll help green. So he'll play his 5, and then green will also play 1, and he'll play this one, which is another 5, but it's green, so it's +2, making it a 7. So you've got a 12 and you've got a 5 here. And now you're going to go ahead and play face down. You can play up to 2 cards, and you can choose them either here or here, doesn't matter. But the last card you play is going to be the card that they're going to be the location or the house that you're supporting. So if, for instance, for some reason, if this player were to place 1 card face down here and 1 here, this last card would mean that they're now supporting this house, which is sometimes useful if she or he thinks that they cannot complete this specific house's objective by claiming the victory. Rather get 2 points than nothing, right? But this person is very, they think they're going to do it. They think they're going to do well. So they're going to play these 2 cards face down. And then you're going to go ahead and this player here will determine what he or she wants to play. Now, do they want to spend all their cards? Maybe or maybe not. Just play 1 here. And finally, the last player is going to dump their 2 cards like that. All right, they've all played their cards, either on either house. Everything then gets flipped over, and effects will take place, if any at all. So we have the green house, and there's 1 green card here with a plus, so it gets a +2 bonus, and the rest of them don't. So you have 7, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 points right here for green. And then we look over here for silver, which we have a 5 and a 4, which is 9, plus a bear rider, which is another 5. And a bear rider gets +4 if it's the only bear rider in this army, for this house. So it's a 9, 14, and an 18 here. So 18, when I say this one was 10, and 17 here, I think. So this house would end up winning 10, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah. So this house actually ended up winning even though it played less cards because it had more points overall. This house wins. We'll get 3 points, and she or he will actually get to keep the Onyx Crown. If she lost this round, it would go to this player instead. But you get to keep it. And then all these cards would get discarded. And because the second player backed the wrong horse, they would get nothing at all. And this third player, who had this house that lost, would get nothing as well. Finally, this player, the person who has the Onyx Crown and won, was going to get to draw up to the number of players. And if they had anybody helping them, supporting them, without anybody actually putting a betrayal card on them, because if that happens, you give nothing out. But they could then give out cards to people, distributed as they see fit. I think at least 1 card per player. But because nobody helped them, they just get the cards. And everybody then gets to draw cards from either the event deck or the base deck. Each player can draw 2 cards from here and 1 from here, or draw 3 cards from here. So 3 from the soldier and 0 from the event, or 2 from the soldier and 1 from the event. Just like that. And then the round would continue and go again, and we would play up until 9 points. And if you had 9 points and had control of that Onyx Crown, you would be claimed as the winner. Now, let me go and tell you what I think about the game. So Reign is a very simple bidding game that takes place over 2 rounds, back and forth. So you have the bidding for the house, and then you have the bidding for the win of the house. After that, you get your points, and you rinse and repeat, drawing whatever cards you can and giving whatever cards you can as well. Now, this game is really, really, really good. I was so shocked as to how much fun this game is. Some of the cards are actually very, very dangerous and powerful, like that Bear Rider that I just played that gave me a +4, in addition to his 5. However, another Bear Rider was played on it wouldn't get that +4 bonus. Neither of them would, so it'd just be a 10 as opposed to getting that, as opposed to just being a 9 all by itself. So playing 2 Bear Riders in the same area is not so good. Some other cards do a couple other abilities. This Firebow will actually let you remove this character and remove any other character from the board. So even though it's just a 3, you can remove it and get rid of a Bear Rider that was a 9. What else? Let me show you some other cool stuff here. There is an Iron Hand. For every Iron Hand in the army, it gets +3. So if you had 2 Iron Hands, they're both 7s, making them 14. There's also some Betrayal Cards. So you could play these face down just as though you played all the other cards face down. And this one here, if you played on your enemy, it would give it -5 points to that specific army, lowering the chances of them winning. Oh, let's see some other cool cards here just for fun. Here's one, Loot and Pillage. Choose up to 3 players, and you can take a random card from each of them from their hand. This can only be played during the first bidding phase, though. It has that little handshake motion on there, or icon there. So that's how that would work. You just play it face up, and you could take cards from people. Another stabby one, -2 to every military card in the army. That's really powerful. And you can place one military card from the discard pile into the army, skip the draw step phase of the regent phase this round. That's really good. If you have 10 or more legitimacy points, you take the Onyx Crown and become the regent and win the game, just with that card all on its own. A lot of crazy cards, a lot of great cards. Now, sometimes you might think some of them are a little overpowered, and I think it might be so if you're playing the Bear Rider in a smaller game, like 2 or 3 player game. But in a bigger player game, I think it does make it a little more diversified and fair. And I think that there's also a couple of cards that could be that I think would be better, or different armies, I should say, like in different kingdoms that are better in certain player games than other games. But that diversification is fun, and sometimes the player who's losing can draw those Bear Cavalries or Bear Rider cards, and they skyrocket to the top. Also, nobody's always going to want to let the same person win over and over again, and you're not always going to back the same person twice when you're afraid they're going to win the crown. So sometimes the player in last place can actually end up winning the game. And if you see our live play that happened, we did last night, or maybe on Wednesday, basically last Wednesday. Hopefully the video comes up soon. But you'll see how crazy it is that some player who's in completely dead last can end up taking the crown and winning for themselves, and how important it is to not bid on the wrong person or help a person that is going to win or looks like they're going to win. Overall, though, the game box is great quality. The tokens are really nice quality and have a double-sided 3 or 2 marker, depending on what you win, if you're winning as the assist or as the main person. The house is really nice, the card's really nice, everything is a really great production quality for this wonderful little card game. Rain by Garage Games. I definitely recommend you checking this one out.